Hey guys, welcome back to the Harambe's Heroes podcast. Today we're going to have some talk about the tournament tomorrow, and then some other general discussion about all the Warhammer Fest reveals that have been going on this week. Lots of cool stuff to talk about. Before we get too far into any of that,
hey guys, welcome back to the Harambe's Heroes podcast.
Oops, that's going to be weird.
Nope, I stopped it. I did not realize my thing wasn't muted, but
it's working.
What kind of hobby stuff y'all guys got going on?
You can go ahead, Brian.
Oh well, I mean, I've been working on OBR, my new little thing that I'm stuck on. Got my guys going here. It's my Leash Cavalos, and just little stuff. Just slowly chipping at this OBR army. I mean, I'm kind of set on Staliarch Lords, but we'll see where it ends up. You know, when you're building an army, it never ends where it starts. So,
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
What you want to build, what you want to pay, right?
Mm-hmm. As of right now, it's Staliarch Lords because I want to play Harbingers, I want to play Death Riders, and I want to play the Crawlers. I mean, not Crawlers, Stalkers. So, that's what I'm working on now. What's you guys, Evan? What are you working on?
Sorry, I was told my mic is kind of quiet, so I might have to mess with that. But I'm actually secretly working on Kragnos. I managed to get a copy super early. Yeah, I'm building him. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
He was part of the design team for Kragnos, actually.
Yeah. I was just like, fuck it, let's throw it in the face of Beasts of Chaos and just like.
Is that why it's painted so boring?
They're like, they're doing Harambe's Heroes guys. They got all of them subscribers.
I wrote the rules too. Dude. Yeah, I was like, what do I need? 18 wounds, 2 up save, like.
Ignore magic after all the playing against Teflus that you've been doing.
He can't take mortal wounds either. Like that's the thing that they haven't shown yet. Like they really want to like.
And his save can't be rendered. They haven't revealed that on there yet, but his save can't be rendered either.
His 80% naked body can't be rendered.
I like it.
But I'm working on Slanesh, so I like playing armies that everyone thinks are garbage, and you know they're not lying. Like it's 100% true, but I play them anyways because you know they're fun, and I'm working on a mirror scheme, so I'll be showcasing that later on as I get more of my army painted. But yeah, how about you, Gavin?
Cool. I finally finished up my Daughters of Cain, and I've probably tired all my friends out, making them look at it and pretend to be, all interested in how good I think it is. I'm like, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. So I'm sure everyone's tired of looking at it, but I'm proud of it. Then I got the Daughters all finished up, and now I've kind of moved on to it's Ogre mod tries, but what it really is just a Beast Claw Raider list. There's 13 whole models, so that'll be fun. That's what I'm playing this weekend, and I've been able to take my time on it because it's just not that many models. So I think I'm gonna like the project a lot. So
I got this built too, by the way, in case anybody was wondering.
This guy,
we got him in the background. He'll be out and about before too long. You guys will get to see the new and improved Bellicor.
Yeah, the badass model.
It is a badass model.
Like 3 times the size of what he used to be.
It's massive. Like the sword alone is taller than the old Bellicor. Like,
yeah, the sword. That's probably my favorite part on that model. Like, I can see people just cannibalizing that model for conversion parts. Like, I can't wait to see. There's got to be somebody out there with a conversion that they're secretly putting together that's going to look awesome.
Yeah, the wings are really good too, and you can put them on a lot of things.
I'd slap the wings on pretty much any model, and I bet it would look badass.
Yeah.
So,
cool. So that's hobby stuff. I guess we can kind of hop into the list, huh?
Yeah. Yep. I got it pulled up.
The good stuff. What everybody's waiting on. So,
first up, we
list
got
number
Avery.
1. Yeah, Avery with the letter A. He's going to be first every time. So this is cool. I think it's another variation of Caradron. Yeah, he keeps every week, every time we have another tournament, he kind of changes a couple things around, tweaks a few things, which is cool to see. That he's trying to add in things that you don't see in normal Caradron lists. So it's always cool to see kind of the off-the-wall stuff. Looks like Barrack Nar this time, and pretty heavily ship-based from what I could see. got the 2 frigates and the gun hauler, 2 gun haulers, and the escort wing. So fairly low drop. He's at 1960. He'll get that triumph against almost everybody.
Yep.
And it's 131 wins, which is, it's pretty high for a Caradron list, I think. So lots of good stuff. Got the Thunderers, 30 of them to be precise. Yeah. So that'll be some brutal damage if he gets it engaged. Like the whole, that's what Caradron does, right? It's just brutal damage from
beautiful shooting
that
phase.
12-inch to 20-inch margin is where he's trying to get to with a lot of his shooting. It's going to be a lot of shooting for sure. He's got the flare pistol. That's awesome in Caradron. And then he's got the Admiral that, I forget what he does in Bergnar. Does he come back to life in Bergnar?
Yeah, I think
what
so.
does Champion of Progress do?
Oh, I don't remember now that I'm thinking about it. I don't remember. For the flare pistol, this is the first time I've seen him bring that, which is insanely good. Like,
oh yeah, it really simplifies your target priority, where you find the big thing in the opponent's army that does stuff, and you shoot it with the flare pistol and
then kill it,
like fill it full of holes.
Yeah.
So it just helps you play. It helps streamline your play with Caradron. I really like that artifact a lot, and you're starting to see a little bit more. So,
yeah,
that's cool. Got lots of little cool stuff going on. The Thunderers have the tech with all their different weapons. That's always cool to see, and
it's gonna suck for whichever poor sap has to fight it in game 1.
Yeah, who did that? Somebody grudged it.
Some moron.
Shooting dwarfs versus shooting dwarfs. I like it.
So,
got the mines. I love the gun hauler. You get so much utility out of that Debt Settler torpedo gun hauler.
The names
so
on their stuff
points.
Is so good, like Deck Sweeper.
Oh yeah,
like Debt Settler.
Yeah.
And then the new stuff they got. We haven't gone into it yet, but
it all reminds me. If you guys ever played Final Fantasy IX, it all reminds me of like those kind of ships, like the names and the aesthetic and everything. It just really reminds me of that like steampunk style, which is I really like about the army a lot.
Andrew said the Bergnar command tray is no battle shock, wholly within 12.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's one way to get it outside of the. There's a battalion that does it too that you see a lot of people take, but that's cool that he's got it on his character too.
Command trait, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, for the army's got low bravery and it gets lower because you use your Aether Gold, so it's actually like kind of turns into an issue sometimes. So it's good to have.
Yeah.
All right. So who we got next?
That's Avery's stuff. You know who's next. Tell everybody, Brian. Tell everybody about your narrative.
Bring me those cheeks. I'm just kidding. This is all narrative. It's for fun. It's for fun. I mean, it's narrative. It's
nothing to worry about. Let's move on.
Yeah. If Marathi was going into combat, that's what she would bring with her. I mean, that's why it's her Vipera Guard.
Yeah. I agree, dude. It's not the same list, but I have basically I'm on the same list now where I have 15 stalkers instead of the sisters, and it's narrative
for sure. I mean, you got the Blade Coven, you got Morgways, so you got the Blessing of Cain, you got Catechism in there. It's a good list, man. It's fun. It's a good, fun narrative list. I think anybody who goes up against it will have a fun day,
a fun turn. Yeah.
Yeah, I finally got around to actually playing. Like play testing it. I had been playing Calibron, so there's the first 2 games I was able to play with the new Hagnar with this setup, and I really, really like the bag of tools you get. You've kind of got a solution to everything. You've got good melee, you've got good shooting, you've got good magic. Like, there's nothing where you point to it, and it's like, this is the best at this. This is the best version of this thing in Age of Sigmar. But it's all really, really strong tools, and you have so many of them that you can kind of, if you use your tools properly, you have something to deal with everything that everyone brings. If you play it right and leverage your army right, your ace in the hole is at Marathi that just can't die. Going somewhere where your opponent doesn't want her to be and making them think about that.
Yeah, knowing where where it's going to hurt them the most to be either just killed or tied up for a couple of turns. I mean, she forces the gameplay to go where she's at. So what's good? That's what works really well with the rest of the army. Because the rest of the army has enough range to, mess with things. And if they're stuck dealing with a Marathi in their face turn 1, it's a fun little thing. I mean, it's cool. I mean, everyone's seen it by now. I did finish my Medusa, so we'll have the Bloodrack Shrine out.
Kyle says his list is narrative too if it's by that benchmark.
I agree.
I mean, yeah. 1-drop change host, that's exactly how it's narrative as it gets.
You gotta get those games in before the changes that are on the horizon make change hosts go away.
We got like 3 months. Change hosts and Viperic Guard are going to be gone. These.
Another nerf to your Daughters of Cain.
Another one. Nerf
they
number
can't
4
come fast
in
enough.
So many months. Fourth nerf in as many months. So
it's okay. At least yours will be
save
around.
You.
Yeah.
It's not going to save you. Trust me.
Andrew saying it's narrative as Croak on a tornado.
Yeah, but his Croak never made it on the tornado last time I played him.
Ooh.
I think
skulls are rough, aren't they, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of talk about it more later, but I think Seraphon might be in the best place to absorb the new edition because a lot of the changes they don't really use.
Yeah.
Like they don't use battalions really. Don't need to. Like there's some the battalions are good and we'll see later, like there's some lists that have those battalions. They don't need them. Their magic's really good. They have teleport. Like they aren't relying on things that are going to change.
I just think it depends.
They have enough cheap units. They can absorb an alpha really easily. They don't have to go first. They don't need turn priority.
I think it just depends on what they're doing with
good units. Yeah, that too. But they have so many good units that even if they change the points on some of them, they'll be in a place where they can still play. I just don't want them to keep nerfing them because you kind of get like a Skaven situation where been there so many times that they've kind of they've almost it's like Skaven's still playable, but it's not like it definitely got forced down a few tiers, and I don't want to see that happen to Seraphon. So
yeah.
I think they're in a good place to absorb the new changes. Out of the 3 at the top, I think. But
cool.
We can kind of get into old Mr. Creech's list. This is Blazicorn, so I'll kind of let Brian run through that. You are the resident expert, right?
Oh yeah. Let's see, we're running Blood Lords, Halo of Blood. So this is what he ran. He's been running this for a while. He's really good with it. He knows what it does. He's got Chaos Lord on Mana Core, Fighting First, Slaughterer's Thirst, Halo of Blood. Carcadrack Lord with the Gore Cleaver. I like that. That's a rend probably going on the axe, and which helps that damage get through to keep that Carcadrack alive. 15 Chaos Warriors, 5 Chaos Warriors, 5 Chaos Warriors, 5. Oh, okay. I mean, he's running the Blood-Marked Warband as well. I know I spotted another one down here earlier. Another guy was running the Blood Mad Warband, but so looks like 1-drop. If I got it right, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The Chaos Knights fit in there.
7, 8, 9, 10. No, it's not quite 1-drop.
Yeah, the Slaughter Priest doesn't go in there, but I think everything else is inside the battalion. Right?
Yep.
What's Korn's number? Korn is 9, right? Or 8?
8.
And a hero, right? 8 and a hero,
yep,
so
8 and
9 total. So, low drop, which I think really helps out a list like that, because so many times you'll see high drop Blades of Corn just get forced to go first, and they don't have a lot of threat turn 1. So they're forced to go first and either sit or go in the middle, which are both bad. Against a lot of the normal things you see, or the normal higher tier stuff you see at a tournament.
Chat says it's a 3-drop.
3-drop. That's good. He'll be dictating turn order a lot. I think only
more than
Change
half.
Host might be.
Yeah.
Change Host is lower.
Yeah,
I think it's a 2-drop Change Host.
He's got the Bleeding Icon and Hex Scourger Skulls. I like that Bleeding Icon choice. I don't see a lot of people running it, but they tend to lean towards the Wrath Axe, but I think the Bleeding Icon's better. It's same size base. It puts out not quite as much damage, but it's more consistent. So over a 5-round game, you're going to get more damage out of the Bleeding Icon than you do out of the Wrath Axe. I really like that. And then as far as its secondary, it extra things are going to run. D3 extra units or models will run if you fail. I don't see that being too effective. It's never really helped anything for me. There's so much out there that are Battle Shock immune, and if it's a unit you're trying to Battle Shock off the board, usually people are in position to stop that from being Battle Shocked off, so it's not really a big issue.
Yeah.
But the Carcadrack Lord's cool. The Mana Core, he's got that really cool Mana Core. I'd like to go up against it. I haven't played Chris. I don't think ever. It'd be fun to get a game in there and get some corn. I'm so rarely on the receiving end of corn. I'd like to play against it just to see how it is on the opponent's side of the table. But Bronze Flesh, plus he's got buffs on there on the War Shrine that'll go either on the Chaos Knights or Warriors or pretty much everything except the Stoker or the Slaughter Priest. But then he's got that Blood Stoker, whip you, add movement, reroll wounds. There's a lot here. He's got a lot of tools. And every bit of this takes a corn mark, obviously, so anything in the list can be affected by that.
Yeah.
I would have
solid buffs, lots of look good bag of tricks, even if it is a little dated, it's still like a good well-rounded bag of tricks, right?
Yeah, very well. When you mix Blood Tithe with this, Blood Tithe is going to open up a lot of things that people forget about. I would have really liked to have seen those Chaos Knights as a unit of 10. Because that's how I run a lot of my lists, with that unit of 10 and the War Shrine and the Chaos Lord on Carcadrack. Run them as kind of their own detachment of the rest of your army, and they just kind of run out there together, keeping the buffs on them, keeping flank. The command trait. Yeah, they work really. But 2 units of 5, it's not bad either. If one gets stuck in, you still have the other one to flex around if you need to, but ensorcelled weapons. He's got one with ensorcelled and one with lances. That's cool. Really cool. I like it. He can go in with do his initial punch with the ensorcelled weapons, so he's not worried about him getting stuck in, and then punch, count second punch with the lances. That's pretty cool. It'll be fun. I haven't played against him. I know Chris has been at corn for a long time. He'll be good with it. A lot of tools.
Cool. So, well, next up on the board is the homie Clifton Pope with his Jerome Watkins and the Knee Knockers. The Giants coming out for another go at it here. I'm just looking at all the little command traits and the artifacts. So you got the command trait Extremely Bitter and Bossy Pants and Clever Cogs. Claws. It's just, I love all of the names of the things inside of that book, like the what is the mightier is right ear, because might is right was in ogres and mightier is right ear for giants. I love all the little names.
I like the 1950 points exactly. So he could have bought a command point, but he's like, screw it, I will always get
give me the triumph. Yeah. It's really good if you can remember to use it, denying your opponent that and getting that is a big deal. It's a bigger deal than people give it credit for. I think a lot of people will just throw in an endless spell because they think it's more valuable. And for some armies it is, but a lot of armies I think can benefit from the hits, wounds, or saves. I think that's really good, no matter which one of those you roll. And situationally, I've had games that I've won because of that triumph. So I really like it. I really like these at 1950 to get it. 3 big ones, and then the 3 little ones in the battle line. This will be a solid list, especially into to Total Conquest. It's going to be a handful because you get extra points for leaders, and you get extra points for taking objectives back, which giants do well
right away.
Well, Blood and Glory also, if he can stick around and just hang out, like literally, he can just hang out until it's time to go up and just win the game. Like, you're going to have to put pressure on that army fast. Like, and you're not going to want to because they're 3 big damn mega gargants, but they can just run up and take all the objectives and win the game on turn 3.
Yeah, it is. In Blood and Glory, it will be a little hard because he only has 4 units.
Yeah.
So, like, he'll have to keep everything alive to do that in Blood and Glory, but you've also got to worry about him just killing you because it's giants. So, that's also definitely a possibility.
He's doing pretty good. Every time he's gone to the tournament lately, he's usually going 2-1 at least.
And he was playing for the tournament win last time he came. Yep. So I mean, it's a solid list. He plays it well.
He almost won it, I think, if I remember correctly, against James. So yeah, it's a good list.
Yeah, just a few tools, but they're all really good and they're functional. So helps it a lot.
We got another Harambe coming up.
Legion of Night.
Yeah, Mr. Evan Clausen. He's a really good friend of the group, and he's been around a long time. He just has never really been into the competitive part. So it's good to see him get back into the swing of things, and like he's been hobbying, which he hadn't been doing for a while. So it's really cool to see him engaged in the game again. It's cool that he's coming out to this tournament to play. But he's got some old school. Probably one of the last times you're going to see Legion of Night at a tournament with the new stuff that we'll talk about later. But it's cool to see. It's lots of skeletons. You got some Grave Guard, the Death March, which is a cool little battalion. Lets you do a hero phase move, I believe, which is really nice.
And there's some outflank also ability with Legion of Night.
Yeah, and in Legion of Night, you can outflank up to D3 of your units, I believe. So it's really helpful with the zombie dragon because it's kind of like a dual purpose thing where he can hide the zombie dragon from dying turn 1 if he needs to, and he can also outflank it to where one of his grave sites are, and so he can outflank and bring something out of the grave. So it functions as more than just an outflank for him. You're also outflanking your skeletons too. So it's a really cool little mechanic. It'll be definitely be interesting to see how he plays it all because he hasn't played in a while, so he's kind of getting back into the swing of things. But it'll be cool. It's just cool to see him come out and play, I think.
And there's a lot of tools in here. I played against a similar version of this at Wargames Con, and 30 Grave Guard coming out of outflank, hitting you turn 1 is pretty good. You know, it's a good option.
That ties you down.
Yeah, it just ties you there, and they get some damage for 30 Grave Guard. That's a lot. I've never seen Grave Guard take it in a block of 30. But it's still, when you look at it for 360 points, that's still really good for Grave Guard. Like, that's a good.
It's cool. All these summonable units really benefit from having the Necromancer because you get the Van Hell's spell on them, and they get to pile in twice. So, I mean, those units, you do that, and you combine that with the zombie dragon hit reroll. Like, you get some good damage out of those little chaff units, and you can bring them back as long as you have your zombie dragon alive. Like, you haven't really seen a lot of Legion and the Gas stuff just because it's an old book, but what's in the book is still good, and it'll be cool to see what he does with it.
Yeah.
That Shard of Night, is that the one where the White King has like a 2+ save in his own territory or something like that?
The White King gets that because he gets that because the White King has a 3+, and when they're in their own territory, you get +1 to your save.
Yeah,
that's what
I had that win a game against me just because we were playing old school Battle for the Past, and I couldn't kill the White King sitting in his territory with a 2+ save. I left him alive on 1 wound, and that just meant I lost the game by a point, and that objective is worth 4. You know, so.
Kevin said he used to run them in 30 blocks all the time.
Yeah, but I never played him with that.
He played
Kevin.
He played in the Gash all the time for a long time, and that was, I think it was, he did a lot of the old the Grimgas Reapers and those. He bounced back and forth.
And Chain Rasp, yeah, that's what I. Okay, so chat's saying that Shard is -1 to hit with missile weapons. Not bad.
Yeah.
Really tanky backline hero sitting on an objective if he needs to. Pretty
Heals, I think he adds attacks to skeletons
cool.
for command ability. So it's a nice little support hero.
I can definitely see it being surprising some players.
He goes in that Death March battalion too, I believe. I think all of the movement procs from him, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've looked at that book, so I'm not 100%, but I think that's kind of the gist of it.
I like Legion of Night too. I mean, I've only played against it ever one time, but I like the tools that it had. It seemed pretty fun.
I've never played against it, so
it's kind of like similar to like Ghoul Patrol was in the FEC book. Like, you didn't see it very often, but I liked some of the mechanics it had. But he's got pinions, so he's got that Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon. Even if he doesn't outflank it, can get super fast.
Yeah.
So
pinions, and I think Swift Form's also
command trait,
a movement-based ability, I believe. I'm not sure if it's a charge bonus or if it's just a movement bonus, but it makes that thing really fast.
It's nice to see another death army out here.
Yeah.
Seems like lately it's only been Ossiarch. Like that's all we've been seeing.
The only new army for the longest time, right?
Yeah.
Cool. What's next?
What we got? Legion of
Evan.
You talk about how bad your army is.
It's terrible. Nothing to talk about. Let's move on. So it's there is a battalion, but it's only the artillery and the trains, and then a demon smith
in there too, right?
So I'm running 2 demon smiths.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good. Like, I think they're a great all around unit. They'd actually be pretty good in some other armies where it's just for 100 points you're getting a wizard with a 36-inch spell that is -1 to hit and they can't run. So really strong in my opinion. And they have a 4-up save, and they do ranged mortals, and they have pretty decent melee stats. Not that you ever want to get them in melee, but just overall like pretty decent. And then I'm running Drazhoth the Ashen as well. I'm primarily just running him for the memes. So he his command ability is really what's important. It's a 24-inch bravery immunity or battle shock immunity. So I guess that was like the old fantasy thing that you could do. So it's still really, really strong, especially since most of this army that I have is like 6 bravery across the board. And then he has shooting, magic, and the big thing is that he on a whenever he takes damage on a 5-up, if he has like basically a 5-up feel no pain from melee weapons, and if he passes it, it reflects a mortal wound back at him. So I've had a Terrorgeist kill itself. I mean, there's plenty of stuff that Drazhoth has fought because he's got 13 wounds with a 4-up save, and he ends up doing just as much damage or more damage than he took back at the opponent, just because I roll those 5-ups pretty well. So battle line, just 4 10 blocks of the fire glaze, so they on 6s to hit they do a mortal wound. The trains, which are really cool, they're going to pull the magma cannons around, and the magma cannons are really what you got to watch out for, because they just roll a dice, and whatever that dice is, if it's a 3 or higher, it does that many mortal wounds, and you add 1 to the roll if there's 10 or more models. So they potential 7 mortal wound damage, and there's no hit value or anything like that, so you can't make a minus to hit or whatever. So really, really strong. Like, those are definitely what you got to watch out for. And then the entire army has it where they ignore the first wound allocated to them in both the shooting and the combat phase, which it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it actually does come into play quite often, where like when you're trying to ping a bunch of my stuff, they shrug off those wounds. So
this is functional.
Yeah,
like
it works. It's just good. Yeah, like, I mean, usually against as long as I'm not going against like a magic heavy army, I'm usually in the game for several turns. It's usually not a 2-turn game. I mean, point wise, I might lose because my entire army is really slow, But yeah, usually there's just a lot of wounds that I have, and with the negations, that 109 wounds for the army actually becomes a lot. And everything in this army has a 4-up save or better. So even the artillery, they have a 4-up save, and then if you in the shooting phase, if you try to shoot them, they get a +1 save. So
nice.
Pretty.
That'll be come in handy the first game.
Yeah.
His secret weapon against Caradron. He's like,
Yeah. Well, until he, yeah, like there's some things that he can do to easily just win it, but yeah, movement is definitely their key weakness, and then, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a crazy battle. Like I expect us to just be. Last time I fought Avery, it was exactly like that, where we were just kind of going. I think we went all through turn 5. It was ridiculous, and then I expect this to be very similar, where we probably know who's going to win, but we're going to have dwarves just shooting each other all game. So, which I think is
best kind of game.
Amazing. So, he's going to put me in my place before the army gets legends.
Send you out, dude. Send me out with a bang, dude. Yeah.
So, that's it. Yeah. You guys want to add anything? Like that?
No, this sucks. We can move on.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No Corn Demon Prince. 1 out of 10.
He won't put a Corn Demon Prince in there for the simple fact that we want him to.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's not just you guys. Like Ryan's always bugging me about it too, and yeah, I don't want to put any. Mine has to be a 100% Chaos Dwarf to count. So yeah. Up next, ogres.
Hey, it's me. Yeah, narrative army, terrible. We can move on. But no, it's
worse than Chaos Dwarfs.
Get
them out of here.
all big monsters. So it's 5. It's 5 monsters and like some frost sabers that get in the way of my monsters. Like realistically, that's what they're gonna do. And a couple support heroes. The hunter and with the sabers and skull give me a little bit of outflank play, which it's nice to have because a lot of the time with ogres it's very simple because you just go into the middle and you don't have to worry about your back line. Whereas this kind of makes you it at least makes you sit on your objectives, which I think helps. And then it's got the triple thunder tusk, which you don't see. You usually see the stone horns, but
yeah.
I really like the range support that they provide, particularly the buffs, Keen and Gale, and the +1 to wound on your melee weapons. I think helps those stone horns out a lot because it gives you the extra movement plus the extra, just more reliable damage. So I think making 2 stone horns more reliable rather than just having like a bunch of stone horns can be better if applied correctly. So it's kind of like a test of theory. It's like super experimental. It's not something you see a lot, but I think it has some play.
Yeah.
So
especially with that,
I'm excited to play it. It's
damage buff. Yeah, with that damage buff spell and stuff, I expect that to be much more reliable than what I've seen in the past running just 6 stone horns.
Yeah. I split up the hit bonuses. A lot of people play the murder horn and just get 2+ to hit on their amount, but
Guilty.
I split it up because I like having 2 that function. And then that's kind of the gist of it. The blood vultures are annoying, especially if you have like smaller foot heroes that your list relies on because they can kind of snipe those out. It will just die if you can engage on it, but that's okay. Like it's something that I've wanted to paint for a really long time, and I've just finally bit the bullet and decided to paint something I really want to paint. So
after that long,
it'll be fun to play.
Long like drudge through the Marathi snakes, it was like relax.
Yeah, the daughters. It was rewarding, but it's not fun. If anyone ever has to paint Marathi and all those snakes, it's all fine detail. I didn't do any dry brush on any of that stuff, so it's all line highlighting. It's all a lot of really fine detail packed really closely to each other, so like you just get a headache. Like you paint for 30 minutes and you have to take a break because everything blurs together. For me, at least, I don't know. There's probably somebody who has, more hardier constitution that can just bang it out, but I couldn't. So I'm excited to paint something different. Like both the color palette, the model scale, and just the number of models. It's 13 models, so I can really put a lot of effort into the hobby side, which I'm really excited about. And plus, I think that ogres will be one of the armies that will absorb the new edition a little bit better if all of the leaks are correct. Like they're not something that depends on a lot of the changes that are happening. They kind of function outside of those things. So at worst, I think they stay the same, and they have an opportunity to get a little bit better, I think. So all those things together are something that lets me, it's a kitty cat.
Yeah, she was screaming
derail the
at
whole
me.
podcast.
I know. Our mascot.
But yeah, it gives me something to paint until vampires come out, and then they'll go on the shelf, and I'll squirrel to that because I can't control myself, unfortunately.
I think it's going to be a really strong list. I mean, granted, you're playing it, so we already know it's going to be good. But I think that it's a lot of the stuff that a lot of people aren't willing to run.
Coward.
Who
is this?
Ryan Miller with
who is
your
this?
arrow?
No, it's
But
James.
look, see the little
James
arrow
here
underneath?
telling me about Lumina. Yeah. We're gonna get to you, Mr. West. And maybe I will paint Lumina. We'll see.
I'd rather that he just leave that shit on the sprue. My God, there's enough of it already.
Soon our
I'll paint
entire
my
tournaments.
Techless, and I'll teach Ryan how to play Techless.
Our tournaments will be nothing but Lumina. It's just nonstop.
Yeah. But that's my stuff. I like it. I don't think it's the strongest thing here, but I think it's strong enough for me to play everybody I play well. So don't think I'm like playing possum. Like it's still a good list. So cool. Who's next?
We got Hunter with his Ossiarch Reapers.
Another homie. I know you've been real excited about your OBR lately. Why don't you go ahead and run it through?
Oh, Petrifex Elite. Okay. I mean, it ain't what it was, but it's still pretty damn good. Like, Petrifex Elite is still really good with the extra rend you can put on everything. He's running the Gash. Nagash and Petrifex, not quite as good, but still it's Nagash. He's going to be hard to deal with. Aether Void Pendulum. I was looking for a little bit something different on that spell, but Pendulum's good. He just brings Nagash up there and summons that thing across your whole army. 20 more tech, 10 more tech, and a Harvester. So, everyone knows by now, Kevin's been punishing everyone with Harvesters and Mortec for a long time, so we all know what that does. It makes Mortec nigh unkillable. And then the Gash is going to put models back in units, it's just pretty much standard. I think by now, the Godbone Armor's good on the Leash Cavalos. It's pretty good. Leash Cavalos has got the command ability to give people more attacks, and then it's pretty standard. Bunch of more tech. I'm surprised we didn't see a couple of crawlers, but I guess when you put an 880 point model in your army, it kind of cuts down on what you can bring. I think it'll play the objectives really well with total. What are we at? Total Conquest or Total Conquest, and I don't know. I think it plays the missions pretty well. We got a good packet for it. I don't know. It's just not my brand of it. I think Petrifex is really good. I just don't like this particular build. I like Hunter, and I like seeing the Gash. That'll be fun. But the build, I just too much more tech for me. I need some speed in my life. Drop 20 of those more tech and get you some Death Riders in there. But I think it's a good list. It's going to play the missions very well. It's going to play the missions very well, and that's about it. I just don't. There's just not a whole lot going on with it. It's pretty straightforward.
And there's one thing that I could recommend if you just want to play Nagash. Kevin does a lot where he brings like one of the lower damage endless spells. I think he uses Gravetide, and he hits it. He casts protection in Nagash on one of his models, and then hits himself with that spell so he could teleport. And that's a way to kind of move Nagash around the board.
That's what I was looking for. Right when I went down to the pendulum, I was looking for Gravetide. I thought maybe he was going to work in that teleporting Nagash tech in there. Kevin was the first one that showed it to me. I mean, I had never seen anyone do it. So
it's a cool little
kudos to Kevin.
And there's I think that you'll see a lot of Nagash. You'll see more Nagash than you see now. I think in the new edition, if you can cast, he can cast Mystic Shield a lot, so you can almost function like old Petrifex did, where you can get everything that you need to at +1 save,
and then tie it in with his command ability.
Exactly.
I mean, it basically becomes old school Petrifex. Everything's got a +1 save, and everything re-rolls and
save rolls of 1. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even at 880 points, I think that he could be a little bit more viable in the new edition if everything shakes out, which we don't know, but it's all speculation. But cool.
Nice.
That's the Nagash Petrifex.
So up next we have James West with his Lumineth.
Terrible Pateclis in here next.
Not a real Lumineth.
No, this is what he went 4-1 at our GT with, and he was like a couple dice rolls away from going 5-0. So it's super ultra strong. Fairly low drop because of the battalion. A lot of this stuff goes in that battalion, so it's a lot of individual MSU units, which Lumineth really benefits from that style, I think, with that MSU style, because you get all of the extra spells, all the extra casting. You get more instances of Aether Quartz, even if it isn't in Psyar, it's still, each of those units get an Aether Quartz, and it's like infinitely valuable because there's just so much you can do with it, I think. And then, just everything that comes with it. Lots of ranged mortals, lots of melee mortals, lots of toughness, just very versatile. Like, very versatile army that has a ton of tools to deal with pretty much anything that you can put on the board against it. This is a really strong army run by a really strong player. So I think do some tournament predictions later, but this is one of the front runners, I think.
Struggles against trolls that roll really well.
Yeah. The weakness.
I guess if you're going to look for a weakness for an army, that's a good one to have. Because you're the only one that really pushes anybody around with trolls.
Yeah.
Right.
Just be weak to armies that don't get played, and you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, we've seen what James can do with it. Like, it doesn't look like, it looks like when you look at it, you're like, oh, it doesn't have Techless. It's a handful. When you see it on the table deployed, it is a handful.
It just realistically, everything is very difficult to chew through because you have a ton of models. Everything is -1 to hit. He's got speed of hish, so everything's faster than you think it is. He's got ethereal blessing, so he can make some shit rend immune. He's got lambent light, so he can do extra mortals. All his stuff is going up. Yeah, total eclipse. Yeah, so everything that he needs is in that army. It's just whether or not it goes off, because I've seen some turns where everything goes right and the army's just unstoppable that turn. But and that's really what that 30-point Twinstone BS is for. I mean, honestly, that endless spell is ridiculous for that points, but that is really the glue that holds his army together.
You could double the points on that endless spell, and it would still be
in every list.
Yeah, I think it's just ridiculously good. Because it only has to be within 12 inches. So I mean, it's just insanely good with how all that stuff works together, and his army can kind of deathball, but it doesn't matter, because if he needs something to just get to the other side of the board, he just puts speed of hish on it, and they're still moving ridiculously fast and are still -1 to hit until he puts them out of that that thing. So it's just a really strong, consistently good
speed of hish non-riders.
They are
speed.
I agree.
Yeah, right.
Ban Twinstones. And then ban Lumineth too, just to flex.
just individually ban everything, and then at the end just be like, by the way, Lumineth banned. Or just ban Wardens, and then just can't run anything.
Super strong. it might have a little bit of trouble on Total Conquest just because of the two heroes. I could see, like, if he pulls the wrong matchup, like, you can also just kill your heroes, but
anything that can outshoot him, I think he'll struggle against. If because I think like Daughters of Cain, because you can't really get rid of Marathian. Those Cathalars, they're kind of low wounds, and it's just not something that I think they're going to survive on that.
I think this mission packet though plays very well into this mission packet because there's no arcane power, there's nothing like that. So, I mean, killing those Cathalars is probably not.
It's
the mission packet's going to lend itself to him very well, only having the two Cathalars as his heroes because you're probably not going to target them down when you're when you're playing on a condensed board like that.
It's I think the consistent problem with that is like the shooting armies, they can play into this list quite and have a pretty decent matchup. But if they're like when I was playing Trolls against them, I mean I had no way of getting rid of those Cathalars, and because of that, everything's battle shock, bravery immune, like everything has all the stuff that it needs, and they carried that game throughout consistently. They have a lot of weight behind those low point heroes. So it's a lot like old Fire Slayers where it's like, oh, just kill the heroes. It's like, well, if I don't have any way to kill the heroes, then it doesn't actually do me any good. But since there's so much shooting, even at this tournament, like it's gonna be some good matchups, I think.
Yeah, it's got the amulet, which brings his Cathalar back 2 on a 4+, I believe, if it dies.
Yep.
It's nice. And I think Iliatha gives him extra bravery on a lot of these units, which helps him out, too. So everything being
running the Aurelian
8
Legion
instead of 6 definitely shores that up a little bit, for sure.
He's got Silver 1, too, so it's actually, I mean, you think that the heroes aren't pumping out on a whole lot of their spells, but he can do all those spells. I mean, it's like 3, 4, 5, 6.
I mean, it's just a lot, and he can do extra spells with Aether Chords. So
yeah, you're talking like 12 plus spells that he can cast per turn. It's insane. Like, it's gonna be funny if he goes into Tzeentch, just pumping up all the spells for him. So
yeah, it'd be funny.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next is
we got
the man we've already mentioned a few times,
Kevin.
Old Mr. Kevin Rand with his trusty Mortis Praetorians. He's played this a few times. He's gonna push the lawnmowers.
Gross.
Double harvesters, double crawlers.
Double harvesters with a bunch of more tech in front of them.
Brought the fun list out. I see.
Yeah, the crawlers shooting the stuff that makes your army work, and Catacross just being unkillable.
And that's the thing. Like, out of all the armies that can have like low heroes and not make a huge difference, like this is that one because Catacross generates all the stuff that you need for the relentless discipline points. So you're not losing a whole lot, and they're battle shock immune, so you're not losing a whole lot by not running a huge amount of heroes except for the battle plan if it requires it. So.
Yeah, and this packet again doesn't have anything where you're really worried about it. This list is coming to get wins, not make friends, boys. This list is
Total Conquest does give you extra points for having leaders on those objectives. So they're good for that.
But what's killing Catacross? We don't have an Archaon here this time, so that I'm aware of. So nothing.
I'm gonna die to freaking catapults.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
probably.
I'm not.
You just fail like 3 of them. It's like, oh, well,
no Archaon here.
Yeah, so that Catacross is basically on the same par as Marathi right now. Where it's like it's better to just ignore that dude and just go about your business elsewhere.
Yeah, between Catacross and the terrain piece, you potentially got something that are 2 different things that neg 1 to hit, or something that neg 2 because those abilities
your CP potentially. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like the problem with you got to kill those harvesters. I think that's almost guaranteed the way that you beat.
The problem is you got to kill those harvesters and you got to kill those crawlers, and you probably don't have the tools to do it all at the same time. So
yeah,
it's like pick your poison. Which one do you deal with? Do you deal with the Mortec lawnmower, or do you deal with the crawler? Like, I mean,
yeah, this is a good list, solid list. It's very it's not one dimensional, but it's got a few things that it does really well. And then kind of like it doesn't have any magic. It doesn't have an abundance of movement. It has some weaknesses, but the things it does well, it does so well that like it's very hard to play against for most armies.
I was running Tzeentch into this list, or I think it was very similar to this list. And I remember it was pretty much that. And actually, I think this might be the same list he ran last time. And then, it was the thing where like I would do my 6 mortal wound spell into his Mortec, and he would like negate 1 from the Feel No Pain, and then resurrect like 3 of them, and so it's like only 2 mortals that passed off. And I was like, man, this is not worth it, because then it was his turn and he resurrected 2 of them with Catacrows. And I was like, screw that, man. Like, you have to focus those harvesters, otherwise, I mean, harvesters in general, we've talked about them before, how their rules are a little clunky in my opinion, but like all of them, like it adds that extra flavor where the Mortec guard, they hit, you can't ignore them. Like they're really hard hitting, but you just need to kill the harvesters with ranged mortals probably to actually make it work.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, then you're kind of SOL.
I agree.
Good list, Kevin.
Yeah.
Good list.
Not looking forward to fighting. And then Kyle is up next.
Yeah, Kyle.
Tzeentch.
Look at me. Look at me, Kyle. Look at me. Shame on you. Shame on your dog. And shame on your family for playing this. How dare you bring this to a local tournament? How dare you? That's all I have to say. We can go to the next list.
Eternal Conflagration Change Host. Kyle. This is not narrative, sir, as much as you try to pretend.
It's a demon list. -1 Fate Master. It's a 2-drop.
No, it's really good. Yeah, he's got the Fate Master, lets him reroll all his shooting, and he's got a lot of shooting, so it's very functional.
All you
big unit of pinks.
Kill the Lord of Change, turn 1. You're good.
Yeah, I'm assuming that he's going to take these 20 pink horrors and teleport them up and make them reroll their shooting, and then go, haha, here,
Master.
kill all these pinks, have fun. Then it'll be not fun. Yeah. But hey, dude. it's a really solid list, and it's something that has seen a lot of play outside of like our little local meta. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays into the stuff like all the normal verdicts, because it's something that's been absent from a lot of our tournaments. So it'll be cool to see how it performs, I think, for sure.
Chat saying we beat up his poor rats one too many times. He's gone out to deep end.
Yeah, we drove him to this. Like, we can't be mad at him. We drove him to this.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. Like,
can't do it anymore.
Those 20 pinks are very deceiving, because you're going to be 4 to hit, re-rolling, and then 4 to wound, and then -1 rend because of the subfaction. So it ends up being a lot more damage than you think on those. So was it 3 attacks each? So you're talking 60 attacks that he starts with. It's crazy.
It's a lot of shots. It's kind of close, so he can be screened.
Yep. And then the flamers too. Like those flamers are doing -2 rend on theirs, D3 damage.
Yeah, they all have like 18-inch range though, right? So you can, even through his teleport, you can screen well enough to keep him off your important shit.
It forces you to play a little bit back, but that's the thing. But it's like that. I just think that it's like that. The pink horrors are going to be tough to screen out, because he can literally just string everything out, or string it out so that the Fate Master can give the rerolls. And now you have 100 wounds you have to chew through, at least. It's not including.
You kind of alluded to the big weakness of the list, but the big weakness of the list is that it's stuck with low movement if you kill Lord of Change.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff at this tournament that's going to be able to do it. Right. So I could see some matchup problems happening if played correctly. But I mean, it's a really strong army. It's a super strong army, and there's a reason that it's got the reputation that it does.
I forgot. Yeah, you're also -1 to hit.
You used to stack it. The person telling you all this was playing it. Old Griff Feather Charm, Mr. JTJ. Yeah, your goddamn Griff Feather Charm command trait, -2 to hit Lord of Change. Yeah, just kill the Lord of Change with -2 to hit. Yeah, just kill it. It's easy.
Easier said than done now, but I can imagine in the past where like shooting was rare in itself. So
Yeah. But it's a really, really strong army, and that 86 wounds is a joke. That's a joke number.
Put a
that's
next
fake
to
news.
it.
That is fake news. 86. So it's got good damage, great mobility, hard to get off the board, and it does a lot of things well that win you the game. So
yeah, I like it because like throughout the game, I mean, you basically just tie your opponent down until you get to and just try to hold.
Sure, you don't want to go back to Liberators, Kyle? I'm cool with it if you put the Libs back on the table, though. I'm cool with it.
We were playing, and we had the Liberators smashed up against Horrors the entire game. And I think that he was like, I see something here that we can possibly do.
I'm sorry for talking about your Lib list. I apologize.
Come back. We're sorry.
Back to it.
We won't complain again.
This is what you get, dude. You've been bullying everybody, dude. Like, this is what happens. You've been bullied one too many times.
I don't blame him. I like it. It'll be fun. It'll honestly, we need some practice against it within our meta. Like, nobody plays it.
Yeah.
So even if it comes in and kicks the shit out of us, Cal's earned it by now. Like, he's been definitely loyal to these events, playing his butt off, and if he comes in and gets a win with Change Host, at least 3 of us will get some practice against it and see if we can do something better next time.
Right on. So, up next, we got another Khorne list.
Yeah, we got the other half of our Khorne v. Khorne Battle Royale matchup in game 1.
I didn't see that Paul took that one. Did he take it?
I think he did.
Shows
pretty sure.
The Flayed Slaughterhost.
Oh yeah, Flayed. So
with the Blood Mad Warband.
I don't think Flayed's going to do that much for him. Let's see.
Flayed is the is that the heroes interaction where if you kill heroes?
Yeah.
No, the Flayed is or it might be, but I think they get the bonuses to their prayers, right?
Yeah, well, you can get a reroll once to pray, but I don't see it. Maybe I'm confusing Flayed with something else. I thought Flayed was, if you kill a hero with the person holding the artifact, they get +1 save for the rest of the game, but I don't see that.
Fucking Joker.
I know it's in that host the Ever Chosen.
Sorry, on a side.
My bad. I was looking at the
Ever Chosen.
I was looking at the wrong list. Let me see.
Wrath the Ever Chosen book is where it is. It's Flayed.
So he's got Artifact of Burning Blood, or Talisman of Burning Blood, which is going to give him a little bit more movement, which is cool.
He's running the Wrath Axe like you were talking about.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of it. It's cool. Let's see somebody actually bring it.
Khorne Demon Prince, make it hard to charge.
Yeah, I mean he's playing for like we talked about with Khorne. Like if you're going to be, and this is low drop, so he can take the turn, come to the middle, and mess around and pop his Demon Prince ability, and then you really run into some real difficulty trying to actually get the charge off. I mean,
yeah, it plays good into I guess like a death ball.
But I must be confusing Flayed with something else because I don't see the artifacts for Flayed on here. If Flayed is what I thought it was, there's a helm that they have to take that gives your prayers or gives your Slaughter Priest reroll of 1 when they're within a certain range of it. But I may be confusing. I thought that was from Host of the Everchosen or from Wrath of the Everchosen book, but
the Flayed. Are you talking? So the artifact of power is add 2 to charge rolls. It was called the Slaughter Helm. It says the first Flayed hero to receive an artifact of power must be given this.
Yeah, and I don't see it anywhere, unless I'm just missing it. Maybe you forgot to throw it in there, because I see Talisman of Burning Blood, which combined with that is pretty good.
No, I see the Slaughter Helm. It's right there on the Blood Secretor.
Blood Secretor.
Yeah, Blood Secretor. Sorry. Yeah, artifact.
No, it's on the Demon Prince.
Oh no, you're right. It is on the Demon.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Slaughter Helm, right there on the Demon Prince. Okay.
Got 3 guys looking at this thing.
Stacking the bonuses. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the command trait is reroll prayer rolls of 1 for friendly flayed priests, wholly within 8 of the general.
Yeah. It's a strong idea. I think I might like it better in Gore-Tide just because of the you count the run roll as a 6, and you can still run in charge. I think that is more functional than the stack that he's got going on here.
Yeah, with this many Blood Reavers and Blood Warriors, I think like a big block of Blood Reavers, with the Talisman of Burning Blood, you mix in a Bloodstoker and whip them. They have some crazy threat range. I think when I was playing, it was something like 26-inch threat range average. Like, it's pretty insane what they could do.
It does help the Skull Reapers out a lot, though, because they don't benefit from the Gore-Tide rules. So
yeah,
that might be what this list is geared towards. I think
big block of that's his hammer for sure. That big block of Skull Reapers. They have a natural 3+ save. They're strong. 2 wounds apiece, maybe 3. It's been so long since I played them. They're pretty tanky, pretty resilient.
They're 3 wounds each for the 4+, but you can get to a 3+ with the bronze
flesh. And they have a ton of it. When they're around that blood secretor, they got like 5 attacks apiece or 4 attacks apiece, something like that. It's pretty insane. They're they do mortals on 6s and against units of, I think it was like 5 or more, 10 or more. Yeah. 5 or more, they get to reroll all hits. So they're just against a big block of like say Mortec. They're gonna basically pick up all the dice and fish for 6s. So
it's good, solid. The only problem I would see is getting all that on one place of the board and the right setup, because it's a little slow and it's a little awkward to get that set up against some of these armies, but it's got potential for sure.
Yeah, if you get it set up right, like it could hold the line very well, and it could give up a unit of those Blood Warriors or those, Reavers to absorb that blow. Khorne has always been a counterpunch army, and it'll counterpunch you pretty damn hard. So I like it. I just, like we said, I like it. I think I would prefer it in Gore-Tide with his unit choices, but it does lend itself very well to the Skull Reapers, which is pretty cool. Your prayers are going to be in extended range not an extended range, but you're not extending the range, but you're extending the movement that you can get with those Slaughter Priests, because they can get out away from that Skull Altar and not kill themselves. Because the reason a lot of people hover around the Skull Altar is because you don't want to roll a 1 and then blow up your Slaughter Priest. So you keep them in that aura, so they're rerolling those 1s. So put a little bit more consistency on your prayers. I mean, it's kind of like mine when I run the Iron Circlet to reroll my prayers. Same thing. I mean, it's a cool list, and we haven't seen him out. I mean, the last tournament I saw him at was like 2 years ago, maybe 3 at this point. Yeah. So it was 2019 for sure. Last tournament I saw him at was an Ogre tournament, so it's good to see him back out.
Nice. Okay, so up next we got Ryan with Lumina.
Everybody's favorite criminal here, Archmage Teclis and Aurelian Legion. Yeah, the name a more iconic duo, right? Yeah, Sire, all this stuff, dude. But super good. We've kind of run through the list a few times. He's played it a lot at these local tournaments. He plays it well, and it's got a lot of the same things that you've seen before. The Caligrave's a new deck that he's kind of playing. He's bouncing between a lot of different new Lumineth heroes, trying to figure out which one he likes the most. And I think he's kind of settled on this one. But yeah, it's just good. Teclis is good. He can teleport now, so he's better. It's crazy good, for all the reasons that we've kind of outlined before. Lots of mortals, lots of ability to shut down what makes your army work. A little low on wounds and staying power conditionally, but it has enough of a toolkit to mitigate that a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking a general 5
ultra strong list.
Pain, so
and the Caligrave, isn't he the one that does the crazy D3 mortal wounds to a hero, and then or he can delay it for a turn and do D6 on the following turn, or if they were already hit with it, they do D6 the following turn.
And the thing is too, Ryan's got the terrain piece this time. So
Yeah.
That-
It's a hero that gets to garrison that terrain piece for sure.
Mm-hmm.
gonna be disgusting. For sure. And then is he not running any of the? He's not running any of the Blade Lords this time, huh?
No, looks like he went back.
Wardens, and all stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that makes sense. Like the thing with this list is the heroes are so strong and they got all this stuff. You got goading arrogance, so you're kind of protecting everything that you need to that you don't. And even if you get into it, it's like you're usually -1 to hit anyways, and then on top of that, he can just pop both Aether Quartz for a +2 save if he really needed it. So not a whole lot can actually get through it.
No, I mean I sent Marathi into 10 wardens and only killed 5 of them. Like that's almost. She's never gone. That's the only unit of 10 of anything she's ever gone into and not annihilated.
Yeah, it's really tough to chew through because there's not like I think its weakness is ranged mortals and or spells and stuff, but that doesn't really work because Teclis auto unbinds a spell, and then you have it where the shooting is like really tough because you usually, if you're running that much shooting, you're not as strong as what their shooting is, or they just kind of play around that. You're having to over dedicate to kill the stuff that makes this list work.
Mm-hmm.
And by then,
and what is this, like a 2 or a 3 drop?
I think it's a 3 drop if I remember.
Yeah,
so he's
Caligrave and Teclis are not in the battalion. Everything else is in Aurelian Legion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but and then he's got Umbral Spell Portals, so Teclis can pretty much hit you anywhere he wants, and then Geminids, which is I think the most annoying endless spell in the game, and then Ishin Twin Stones, which is the strongest endless spell in the game. So
Is going to make you -1 to hit, and then -1 to hit when you try to go in. You'll be at like -2 to hit.
It just ties in with it, and then I can't tell you how many times it's if he wants to, you're like, okay, well, I don't want to swing into too much things because he has the he can double fight. So you're like, I'll just swing into this thing with and try to kill this unit, and then he's like, oh well, you're -2 to hit. And I'm popping both my Aether Quartz, so I'm a 2-up save on my 10 Wardens. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. You have Battle Line. Just usually you don't kill them all. Like, you can chunk them and stuff, but it still isn't enough to do it. And then the Cathalar's there to pass the Battle Shot. It's just a really well-synchronized list. And I still haven't found a list that consistently can give it a tough matchup. From what I have.
Yeah.
I know of a list that does. But cool. Yeah, I kind of alluded to it before. I think this tournament's probably going to be, if my predictions are right, which they never are, so take it with a grain of salt, both of the Lumineth players, but I think that Lumineth is probably going to be challenging for this tournament.
Chaos Dwarf.
Or whether it's James or Ryan, that's what I think is going to be. Those are the 2 strongest lists here. And then there's there's a group of dark horses below that could jump up and win the tournament, but I think those 2 are kind of the front runners.
Yep.
So,
and then so we done with Lumineth finally.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm with y'all. I think that's our front runners.
I mean, we know you're gonna win, Brian.
I'm not. I'm bringing narrative stuff. Dude. I'm not gonna beat this.
It'll be hilarious when I walk up there to win something. You guys are like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Guy came in here with this lame ass army and won.
How did you avoid
your alarm clock goes off?
Yeah.
And you wake up and you actually go to the tournament. But
a man can dream.
Cool.
So up next we got
next up,
Seraphon Stevens' army.
Yeah, I think he's brought this out once before, so it's cool to see him come back out again.
He brought a Thunder Lizard last time.
Yeah, so he switched it up. He's in
Dracothia's Tail this time.
Starborn this time.
Yeah.
So really good. Right off the bat, what jumps out at me is being in Dracothian's Tail without the skink character that lets you charge 3d6. I think that's something, if you're going to play Dracothian's Tail, it's something you should strongly consider. maybe. But from what's here, lots of really strong components. It's a little bit lower drop than a lot of Seraphon lists are because of the battalion. Still kind of medium as far as drops because there's so many heroes. And I think that that's a common theme in Seraphon is that you're almost always maxing your heroes out. I don't really see a lot of Seraphon played without 6 heroes because their heroes are so good and so integral to the army, and then they're also so cheap.
Yep.
So those three things together always wind up encouraging you to fill those leader slots out. It does let him get the extra artifact, which he's putting Cloak of Feathers on his on the Trog, which is interesting. It makes it super fast
and fly and
Fire Lance is Mortal Wounds, right? In Star Host.
In Starborn,
I think it's the Mortal Wound one.
I think I do. I think so. So you can double up on those with his. He doesn't have the Star Priest either. You should have both of those things, sir.
He's gone all in on the SARS.
Still super interesting. Lots of little cool components to the list. The Star Master with Ancient Knowledge is really cool. I like that a lot. You have the Eternity Ward, and that can take wounds for the Star Master, so it keeps it alive a little longer. You have the SARS Guard doing the same thing. So his Slan is not going to die. Don't try to kill it. But lots of little cool things. Some interesting stackable buffs with the Cold One, Scarvet, and the Sunblood on all his Saurus. He can make it a lot better in combat, which is cool to see.
Yeah, you're gonna see him playing like crazy with like.
No chat. We're not sleeping on that change host. I'm just these two dudes that are running this stuff. I know them.
It's Kyle's first time.
You better start thinking of what you're gonna do when 30 Sentinels shoot at that stupid Lord of Chains chicken. You better figure out what you want to do against chicken that before you start talking all this big game in here.
No, it wasn't him. It's somebody else talking about it. Is that Dylan? Is that the other brother?
That's his Bubba, dude. He's in here defending it, dude. I get it, dude. Homies stick up for homies. I get it.
No, I'm not sleeping on it. I think it's really good. I don't want to fight it, but it's just the experience these two have with this army. It's going to be hard to beat. Like, they know how to play that army very well.
It's going to get a lot of people, though. But I know I probably have nothing to deal with that.
The change house?
Yeah, like it's just going to run me over.
It's in that group of Dark Horse armies that I mentioned earlier. It's in that group of Dark Horse armies that can give those Lumineth armies every bit that they can handle. Yeah, 40, we get it, Mr. West. 40 archers. Yeah, just so you guys know, 40 archers.
I'm not looking forward to that either. God, maybe I just don't come to this. Maybe I just stay home tomorrow.
The amount of
I'm only playing narrative stuff,
dude. It's Mother's Day. I can't come.
Yeah, it's narrative stuff that I'm playing. I
hired one of those mall Santas to pretend to be you during the summer. I am actually surprised with how much shooting there is at this tournament. I think half of the armies are like more shooting than anything else. Now that I think about it,
it's just the natural progression. I think a lot of the shootings become stronger, and like it's just good. Like it's you can apply it well. It's good at circumventing other armies' mechanics, and it's a good thing to have in your list. And I think that's starting to kind of filter into a lot of these lists.
Yeah, good. All right, I guess we got one more list. It's Trevor with Night Haunt.
Cool. I think he played this last time too, right?
Yeah. Well, there's a black coach. I think so. I didn't fight him, but this does look like a very similar list.
Radio Linder.
No, he played. This is new. This is the Emerald Host.
Yeah, he played Legion of Grief last time.
This is brand new.
Is it? This is the one from the Techless book or whatever.
This is in the book. Yeah, he was playing Legion of Grief. He switched to Emerald Host. This is the one that lets you mark a hero and just make their save one worse for the rest of the game. That's super good, super interesting. So. But a lot of those same units, got the Death Riders battalion with the Hex Race and the Black Coach, so those will be really good. at assassinating that hero that he marks if he can get the charges off, which happens a little easier inside of Death Riders. So that's a good combination.
Because that goes off on like a 9, right, for the Hex Race instead of a 10+. The fight in the hero phase.
It looks like Trevor might be dropping. So.
Sad.
It's a garbage list. Not even worth talking about.
Yeah, tell him. Send Trevor our regards. Trash. It's a good thing he dropped. He would have lost all his games again.
I remember he forgot his black coach in the other room on game 3.
No good.
In the timeout room.
He was like setting up for the the third game, and I was like,
he was so embarrassed he had to get out of there, dude. He's like, "Get me out! I don't even want it anymore."
Beautifully painted, by the way.
It's cool. The Emerald Host, I think, is going to be what you see Night Haunt played in as of now. I mean, it's going to be subject to change here pretty soon, I think, but that is the most playable version of Night Haunt now, I believe. So it's sad that he's not coming. I wanted to see this played. I have high hopes.
That means we got another Seraphon list that's going to join us. Sadly.
Actually, that should drop us to 14 even. I think we had 15 people.
I forgot about Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Never mind.
He did drop.
Thank you for dropping, Trevor. I appreciate it. I didn't want to see another Seraphon list there. So.
Didn't want another ringer winner.
Yeah, I didn't want
somebody else in here.
Another game where the ringer wins.
All you gotta do is beat me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, this is real good.
Cool.
That's cool. That's all.
That's all. Of it. Yeah. Well, so what are our predictions? I know we kind of went over, but like top 3. What do you think?
I think one of the Lumineth players is going to win, and then I think there's like a group of people that are all kind of like dark horse armies here. So I think that Brian can challenge for the win with Doc, obviously. I think Cliff can also play really well into these missions and these armies. Kevin for sure. Eternal, the change host for sure. And if none of that wins, I'll be surprised. Sorry if you weren't a part of that group.
Yeah, I would be
sad.
Too.
I didn't include myself in there. If that makes you feel any better, but
yeah, I mean, 4 of those. I'm like change host, Kevin and his stuff, and the 2 Lumineth guys. Like, if I beat those, I got lucky. Like, that's how I feel in that matchup. Like, if I beat any one of those armies, I got some shit went my way. Like,
it's gonna be me and Cliff for the first place. I can already see it. Drasoth is going to carry this tournament for me. You just wait and see. You guys are laughing out now, but he's gonna do some smackdown.
I'm rooting for Kyle. That's who I'm rooting for. I want to see Kyle come in here and tell us all that he was letting us win for the last year because he just was choosing to not play an army good enough to beat us. He was trying to play Molder, and he was letting us win. So that, Kyle, I'm going for you. Go win this thing tomorrow.
I definitely think the Lumineth players and then the Daughters of Cain as well. And then I think Cliff is going to be up there in the top as well.
Kevin is really good, and Kyle, if he, I don't know how many practice games he's got in with it, but if he has the feel for the army and understands it very well and does well with it, he could. I mean, Kyle, I'm going for you.
Yeah, Gavin's list is going to do pretty well too. I'd be shocked if you didn't at least do 2-1.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's going to go any worse than that either.
Maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll just lose 3 games.
Yeah, I think the thing is Gavin's going to knock out whoever we think is actually going to win. Like, we're going to see someone do it, and then Gavin's list just knocks them out of the thing, so neither of them win the first place.
It's usually me, for the record.
Yeah.
Usually I get paired up with him turn 1 or round 1, and
the list has the survivability, and then they have the might is right. So
and there's a lot of sneaky rules in there if you've not played that book. There's a lot of sneaky stuff in there that you'll forget about.
Oh, it's no good. Don't worry about me. Read everybody else's rules. Don't worry about mine. Mine are bad.
Just
Don't worry.
you have to watch out for my burning skies. If you fly, anyone's flying, more wound.
Yes.
Maybe.
Mm. Mm.
My burning head.
Secret.
Yep.
And
It's a
Marathi can only
sleeper
take
army.
2 before she eats your whole army. I'm not worried about it.
My trains were
That's
the
cool.
other day.
What did y'all think of the previews, dude? I'll go first.
What'd you think?
I love the vampires. I love the vampires. All of it. And if you think they're bad, you're wrong. And that's the end of the discussion I want to have with
More for
anyone
you,
who wants to discuss whether or not the vampires and the new monsters are good or not. I just don't want to like even entertain the idea of like people not liking the models, because I love the models. You can hate the models. I don't care. More for me. They're awesome. It's everything I wanted. So that's my opinion on the new vampires.
A big new centerpiece. That's cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well,
All of
new
it's
army.
Like, yeah, it's just crazy. It's everything that I wanted them to do with Soul Blight. Like I wanted new unique centerpiece models. I wanted the bloodlines to come through, which they did.
Yep.
They revamped almost everything that was getting played has been revamped into new models and new play styles, like zombies, skeletons, dire wolves, like blood knights. All that stuff is brand new. You know, all of it looks awesome. And I'm excited to see the rules, but at this point, just what they've done aesthetically with the army is enough for me to just love everything about it. And I'm sure the rules will be good in some way, so that'll be fun to figure out too when they come out. But perfect, I think they nailed it.
Yeah, see, Andrew was on the same page. Revamped them.
Yeah.
Unintended. So yeah, no, I think they're great. I mean, I hadn't been paying attention, and I kind of like once I saw a lot of the stuff come out, I didn't really think anything of it. But then like the release from this week, I was like, dang, they're actually trying to make sure that this army is an actual full blown death army, and the amount of heroes that they have already, it's like that's more than some of the armies already in the game have. So I don't know the rules and stuff, and that's the thing. It's like there's so much already there, and we don't even know about the rules. We don't know about the war scrolls. We don't know about their allegiance abilities. I know we know like things about the blood lineages and stuff like that, but like the whole I do like. I think Gavin and I were talking about this, that it's really nice that they didn't just make the traditional old vampires, like from fantasy and stuff, which they're great. I mean, that's what everyone loved them for, but there's nothing that really stands out about it, and I feel like people would get bored really quickly compared to all the other stuff in the game if it was just vampires and nothing else. So I really like they took the monster half of it and kind of expanded on. I mean, even the wolves, like honestly, like you can build an entire list with the wolves, and I think it look really amazing. So those dire wolf models.
The big beast guy I liked, but not like aesthetically.
Predator.
I think it all looked good, but nothing exploded off the screen at me. But it's never been my playstyle or my aesthetic. I've never been a huge fan of the vampire stuff, but
it's good. There's finally an army that you don't want to buy.
Yeah, right. I mean,
thank you, Wallet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, the big beast guy looked pretty cool, but
yeah,
I don't hate them. It just didn't tickle my nether region.
Yeah. Chat's talking about that they need to bring Vlad the Chad back.
Mm.
I still think there's going to be something that they're going to reveal. Like they're still not done. There's no way.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then
they reveal a lot, but I think they did a really good job of like marrying a lot of those old concepts with fresh new ones.
I think they did a good job.
They stayed faithful to a lot of the core mechanics of the army and aesthetic wise, and then also brought the fresh new models in. And I think it's going to be a boon for Death. I think for sure.
I am loving, like, for Games Workshop in general, I am loving all the new models they're coming out with, even like the foot heroes and stuff with the base. Like they have like the bases that are part of it. I mean, they look amazing. Like I think it elevates it from like being a good model to like a crazy amazing piece. I mean, ever since like the Sigvald, and then now you got the wolf stuff, all that.
He forgets I was winning games before he knew how to paint Deepkin.
What are we talking about?
Why are you gonna pick on him, Ryan? What are you picking on him for?
Yeah, why don't you get Gavin to show you how to paint?
Oh, I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. But what else was there? I don't even remember what else. Oh yeah, that thing. Y'all are excited about that.
Yeah, I'm getting Kragnos. I got all the destruction armies, so I think it'll fit perfectly in it. It's just more like I think it's kind of weird because I think they have to flesh it out because in the books prior they talk about Skragrot and Gordrak, thank you. About being like leading the army, the big Wa and all that stuff, and like having all this build up to it as them being the leaders, and then we kind of knew there was going to be like a Gorka Morka thing coming out, but then it just shows him and he looks like a Beast of Chaos. Like I think everyone agrees that like this is like the failed Beast of Chaos unit that they should have had, but then they're just giving it to destruction. And I'm like, I love it. I'm gonna run it, but I don't know if it looks right in any of my armies. I'm gonna be running a bunch of Gits and then have this big ass Bull Centaur looking, or this Beast of Chaos looking model in it, and it's just really weird. And the rules and the lore seem very much with like a fantasy character, Kolek Suneater, but they just tweak some of the lore, and it's just really strange to me. So,
yeah, I think one of the problems they're going to have with the model being playable in any faction is that if it's terrible, no one's going to play it, and if it's like really good, then you're going to see it everywhere.
Time. Yeah,
right.
That's usually the weakness with the melee-centric monsters. Is they're either so good that you're dumb not to bring them, or they're so bad you'll never bring them unless you're just trolling.
Yeah, so, I don't love the idea of a model that's playable in every destruction faction. Kind of similar to how Gotrek was. Mm-hmm. The same thing, where I just don't like seeing a character that can go in any faction because you kind of lose the uniqueness of the model.
Yeah.
Like if you make it good and everyone's playing it and everyone has one, then like okay, I mean I guess it's cool to see.
I hope he's bad except for his subfaction. I hope they do it like Bellicor, but make it correct where like he can be run into him, kind of like the giants and stuff. But really, you're not going to be running a giant in any of those things. You're going to run Kragnos in his subfaction if you're running Kragnos, and I think that's the way it should be played up.
Yeah.
Because I just right now it's like he doesn't synergize from the looks of it. He's just his own, like basically a big Stonehorn, and it's like what's the point in running him? And even like we were talking about, 2 Stonehorns might be better than Kragnos if he's worth like 700 points or whatever.
No.
Well, now that you've mentioned that, I was
really cool. I want that subfaction to have like a unique play style, and that would be really cool.
Yeah, chat's saying it. Like, it's just a destruction Archaon essentially, and it's like that's nice, but at least Archaon it kind of fits. Like Archaon can mesh correctly in it. He has the demon keyword. He has all that other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get anything. And as far as the keyword, he's not getting Gits. He's not getting orcs or Gargant or whatever. So it's just going to be really awkward in most of those armies. That destruction right now is very niche for the list.
Well, I initially liked him, and then the more I've thought about it, the more I've wanted to go away from it. I was like, yeah, give me that big centerpiece army for my ogres. And then now that I'm messing with it more, I'm like, nah, I'd just rather have more fat boys on the board than one giant guy.
And now, if they came out with more units in going forward, like if they had like basically his army revealed later on, I'd be really excited for that. Still make him the god of destruction, but if they made more like smaller versions of him that are a little unique, or even like a horde semi-army that are about like his likeness, it just seems very strange that they chose to go this route. And once again, no one is really like excited or was looking for this kind of thing. And Gordrak, who is kind of hyped up to be the god of destruction, or at least the avatar of destruction, is kind of just shoved to the side from the looks of it. Yeah. It's just really weird. Like I don't know what their thought process is. especially with them sieging the city.
Screen.
Yeah, just make him a big freaking orc.
And then
the biggest orc.
James was mentioning Ilarial, and that'll be interesting too. Just for the Sylvaneth, the Sylvaneth book in general. They're getting a new character, and they're getting Ilarial, and then maybe something else we don't know yet. But hopefully it gives them something that it just injects some playability into that faction, because I don't think it's as bad as everyone thinks it is, but it is just a cumbersome army that just isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Like, it's expensive, it's cumbersome, rules wise, and even if you play it perfectly, it's like a mid-tier army. And if you don't play it perfectly,
you're battling up.
It just nosedives.
Yeah.
And so it can be better than what it is. So hopefully those new rules do that for that army.
Oh, also, they mentioned Gits are getting updated. Now, I don't know to the extent, he didn't go into detail, but he specifically mentioned Gits, and he did mention, as far as those, that especially the Spider Fang faction would be getting updated. So, which they need it the most. So I'm really glad they're paying attention to it. And I think my theory with the whole Kragnos thing is that Gits are going to be the most closely aligned with Kragnos. That's just my thought.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Spiders would be cool. I love the Arachnaroks. I would love to see them on the table.
In the books, whenever Gits are mentioned, they always make sure to mention the spiders more than any other faction. And it's really weird that, you have one battle line and I think 3 heroes. And that's all. That's the entire sub-faction. Trolls have, I think, the same number. And then... Oh, no, they actually have more. They have more options. And then you have I guess you got different spider options. But ultimately, you put these big spiders on these massive bases, and they're terrible attacks. Terrible hit, terrible wound, and then terrible rend. They're only good for the mortals, and they're like a 4-up save on 12 wounds. So they just die really easily.
Oh.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
New reveal tomorrow. So that... I don't see how it can not be 3.0. Like, if it isn't 3.0, I think it's more of a surprise than it is 3.0. And there's been in the chat's kind of mentioning that maybe his army's in there.
Yeah,
I think that's a little bit wishful thinking, because they said his people are dead. So
except
maybe
for the
not.
week.
But
yeah. It'd be funny if it was like a half and half. We'll take one update and split it into 2 days or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do think it'll be either that, or they're gonna go more maybe it'll be crazy and they go into the fantasy, the new fantasy thing. They finally
cool
give an
too.
update on that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that's a little bit early, because that was already said to be 2 or 3 years out when they announced it a year ago.
Oh.
And then everything that we've seen to this point has been, it's 6 months or so behind. So.
Well, it could just be something to hold us over, since literally nothing has been shown except for a map and some models. So it might be to just keep the hype going. I do agree that it's probably going to be 3.0 just from all the rumors and stuff that we've been talking about. But those same rumors did mention that there's a potential 2 armies that might be released. So I think that you're going to have to... I don't know. It just depends on what I think they're willing to do, because it's only a matter of time. We're with the 4th book coming up, with Kragnos being the 4th book, and they're kind of talking about it being wrapped up. It only makes logical sense that we're moving into the next phase, whatever that may be.
And I guess the chat's going crazy talking about that crab. Why are we excited about it? I don't know. It's a crab.
It was the highlight of that
day.
Maybe
they saw something.
Crab rave, dude. That's why.
Everybody wanted to see the crab.
It's a damn crab. It tastes good with butter. It's a damn crab.
No, I think I think it'll be, hopefully, as long as it's AOS, I'll be excited. The last thing I want is just more 40k stuff or something that has nothing to do with it. And I do think that
I think it might be a mix, because it's just I don't think it's going to be one thing. I think it'll just be a lot of stuff. It'll be like the hype day. Hopefully it's not just like a wet fart and nothing. That would be bad.
Yeah,
But,
When the
whole
cool
life.
part is, we'll all, you know,
So like
James
Monday was
brought
the
up
best
earlier-
day. It's like, oh, okay, that's pretty.
Well,
dumb.
James brought it up earlier. We'll all be sitting there,
yeah, they're at the
there
tournament.
together, you know, getting to see this reveal.
Yeah.
So that'll be
Yeah,
And
cool.
our lunch.
We'll not
too.
even be paying attention to the actual games we're playing.
We'll
which
be
is-
at
Well, it's going to
lunch.
be during our lunch.
okay, good.
Perfect. We'll all be huddled around a couple phones. It'll be awesome.
Well, I guess
another
That's
a boomer.
Stormcast
Yeah,
I'm
hero.
a boomer because I don't see the beauty in the crab. However cool you think that crab is, it's outweighed by how dumb as shit that fish is. That's also in the unit.
Boomer Brian, dude.
Sebastian
Boomer
and
Brian.
Flounder in your whatever war band.
Yeah, I bet it'll just be a new Stormcast hero. I'm like, oh, here you go, new reveal.
Yeah, three new Stormcast heroes and 3 new Space Marine heroes. I think that's what we're gonna get tomorrow.
It should be interesting. I think that because they were talking about silent ones, and then I just don't. They kind of said that they don't expect to see them released. Maybe for 40K or whatever, but I don't know. I think I would be shocked if they didn't have like maybe another faction and then kind of do a Gravelord combo thingamabob. But that's just me.
I don't know. But I didn't really like. I mean, after day 1, I really wasn't interested. I mean, maybe that's just all of us, but I have not. Like, I've paid attention. I've glanced at it, but I haven't seen anything that just stood out to me.
Gaunt's Ghost is cool, and then Beast Negas are cool. I like those.
Yeah.
The Sisters of Battle, whatever, trash.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, whatever.
Well, so the Kragnos book, what do you guys think will actually happen in it? Because for not just lore wise, but like it seems like a lot of the armies that are getting updated are either incredibly good or incredibly bad as far as the rules. So 3.0 might not happen because of 3.0, but you got Slanesh, Seraphon, and Sylvaneth and Gitz that we know of are being updated in that.
What I think that with the 3.0 changes, these rules updates and these books are going to make a lot more sense. That's my prediction. I think a lot of this stuff is being written with 3.0 in mind, so I think you'll see a lot of it mesh better when that new rule set comes out. Some of the stuff that doesn't make sense now will make more sense when that comes out. That's my prediction.
What do you think, Brian?
Are you talking about rules-wise or lore-wise? Or
Yeah, both. Whatever. Like,
I think at some point, Order's going to have to stop doing their own thing, or the bad guys are just going to win. Right now, it seems like all of Order kind of are all doing their own thing and not working together very well. Like
Waiting on
Marathi.
elves to just be Grand Alliance elves. I don't know why they're in Order. They all have their own agendas and don't care about the other Order factions. So
yeah.
Personally,
And dwarves, after that move into Be'lakor, like I see dwarves. Like we've already heard rumors, or I've heard rumors. I don't know if anybody else has heard the stuff about there being a Duarden faction. Like, and it already kind of hinted towards Gromny or Gromthy in the Be'lakor book. Like, hey guys, we got to go help them because it's what we should do. Like, not to get profit, not to do anything. And then it's already talked about he wanted to revive the honor of his people versus just the profiteering, scrapping a living out of wherever they can make money kind of survival that they've been going off
they're
of.
not thinking beyond, like, what's in it for me, or like, what can I make a profit out of it? Because, I mean, I do agree that, like, I think that Duarden getting a new faction is, like, desperate, especially, like, a true Lumineth style update to the how the high elves were kind of turned into the Lumineth, that like the old fantasy dwarves can be turned into something else, because you got, I think from the lore, if I remember, you got Gromny, or you got Grugny is coming back, and he's kind of putting his people together, and then you have you're trying to rebuild the god from the Fire Slayers. They have to have it done by now. I mean, come on, let's be real. Like, how do you not have enough Oath Gold and stuff to put a dwarf back together? So
yeah.
And then now they're talking about like a mountain.
Dylan, you're the poster child for make everybody else's stuff bad and make my stuff good. Like, come on, everything can't be bad. Like, I get it. Elves are strong,
and Sigmar's got to do something too, because he's just kind of dicking around the entire time, and now his actual city is being sieged upon by destruction. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think it's a solid bet that Stormcast are like in the wings with a big update.
Yeah, they got to take back
to the
realm.
3.0 release.
Well,
they've never made a starter without Stormcast. I don't think they would start now, and I think that would coincide with a new rules book, like a new rules release also. So I think that Stormcast will be in a good spot.
Yeah, they kind of have to, because right now they're like pushed to like this weird brink of extinction kind of thing, where even the destruction is threatening their existence. And it's like, what happened 2 years ago when Stormcast were kind of putting the thumb on every army across the realms?
Just power creep.
Yeah.
The nature of all things, it's all cyclical.
Well, you have these basically, wars across the continent where Death is trying to attack everyone, and not once is Stormcast mentioned in any significant way. So, other than losing.
And Andrew brings up a good point. Let the Prime actually be good. That'd be awesome.
He just shows up to show someone else how strong they are.
Yeah. Well, they're easy because they can die and not die.
Yeah.
So
even in the lore, the Prime is like he is a god-ish. He's a demigod style figure in the lore, but in the game, he's a 300-point hunk of shit if he doesn't stay in the sky for 2 turns.
Well, and Croak is like lore-wise is getting a massive, like, it seems like he's just getting more and more detail to it, which is great in my opinion. Apparently he committed genocide again on like all of Kragnos' people.
Yeah, that's him, dude.
And then locked him up, and then in Bellicor he destroyed all the realm gates, and it was just like, fuck it. So
we got some closing thoughts. I got to get my beauty rest so I can beat everybody with Beast Claw Raiders tomorrow.
Well, we're bringing narrative stuff, dude. We're going to have fun.
I beat all y'all with my BCR. Easy. Won't even have to try. Watch.
I left the corn at home this time, so I'm not just going to spank you.
Well, I think it'll be fun regardless. The tournament's going to, every time it's always at least pretty decent experience.
It's just fun to come hang out.
Yeah, and then especially with the reveal, like, we're either all super excited or we're all super bummed together. So.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be a fun day tomorrow, for sure.
Cool. I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Thanks for tuning in all the way through, everybody. I really appreciate you all coming in and memeing on Brian in the chat and everything else that y'all contribute.
They just hate me because they ain't me. That's all. Like peanut butter and jelly in this chat tonight. That's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's nobody showing up to watch, then there's no show. So you guys make the show.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, really appreciate it. And be sure to rest. I don't want no excuses when I beat everybody. So
don't show up late. 10 a.m.
Show up on time. Drive safe. Wake up early so you can drive safe because 290 is Mad Max. But, we'll see you guys.
All right. See you guys.